To me, we're here to make life easier for those who really need it, who are behind the 8 ball, because when bottom falls out of things and you lose your job, everything in your whole world goes the wrong direction. My name is Priscilla Nelson. I work for Feeding America West Michigan Food Bank. My job is inventory coordinator / shipping and receiving dispatch.
Priscilla has been here a long time, and as we have talked, been here well over 30 years, and that is rare. But she's really done just about every function that happens in this food bank, and that's exciting. And no one can stay in any organization as long as she has, unless you really love what you do.
At first, it was just nothing more than a job, something to pay bills. That was almost 33 years ago. And I kind of liked it. They did things I liked doing. I drove truck. I was a supervisor twice. And now I'm a coordinator. I've done every job in this building except for one. And I've seen the boss's job, and I don't want nothing to do with that. It was over on Granville and Logan. There's a warehouse complex over there. And that was a place. Whew, that was a place. You froze to death in the winter and roasted in the summer. And the bathroom was out in the hallway. And a couple of times we had to chip the ice loose in the toilet so we could use it. It was interesting, to say the least. And so Gretchen Bausma, who was my boss at that time, found a building over on Jefferson in Logan. Used to be an old meat market. And that's where we moved.
Well, Priscilla Nelson and I have grown old together. She started probably about the same time I did at the food bank. And I remember her back at Jefferson when Gretchen was there and operating out of that facility. And she was one of those hard-working people who just was always there, always dependable, and getting the job done for us with a great attitude, great sense of mission.
Let's see, Gretchen was really sweet. She had her way about things, and if you wanted to do things a certain way, you just had to know how to talk to her. And you could get your own way. That's terrible, I know. But if you made it sound like it made sense, and then she'd go your way. And she was really a good lady to work for.
Well, Gretchen was a real hard worker. She had a very earnest person, and she had a lot of community involvement. She did a fabulous job for the organization.
Gretchen was getting ready to retire, and he was interviewing for her job. The man had long hair. I mean, long hair, and his big beard going, "Yeah, we got a hippie in here."
John was a wonderful man. Talk about somebody who was earnest and a deep thinker. That was John. And he had a real zeal for food banking. He was truly a zealot and a visionary, a very creative person. And with his visionary spirit and sense of where he wanted to go, he did a fabulous job. I think he was there 22 years.
He started the first mobile pantries. Those were totally his idea. And then they've expanded from there. And we pick up yogurt and beverages, juices, produce. After a while, I went from doing that to literally shipping and receiving. That was my first experience going into the back of a truck on a high-low. We actually had a dock that had a plate that dropped in, and you could ride right into it. It was so old, the high-low should have been in the Smithsonian Institute. We were double leveled, and to go down to the second level was a ramp. And there was a little building inside at the end of that ramp. And I was going down there to get something, and it lost its brakes. And they heard me screaming, "Clear up," because when it went down that ramp, it went right into that building. And I never thought, just pull the plug, and it would have braked itself, stopped. And I didn't think about that, and I went in panic mode. But after that, I got proficient. Yep. In fact, I was the only employee there for 3 weeks unloading trucks.
When we interviewed to replace John, we interviewed quite a number of people from the food banking community. But strangely enough, we had this young gentleman, well, I say young, he's younger than I am, who came to us with 30 years of experience with a high-level Fortune 500 aerospace company. My God, he was running an operation with well over 1,000 people.
He runs this like a true business, which is the way it should have always been run. He still has his passion for it, though. He really does. You can see it in him, and you can hear it when he talks. But John run it like a food bank, like all the rest of the food bankers who have been in food banking all their life, where Ken does it the opposite.
Well, it's kind of interesting because although I knew of John Arnold prior to coming to the food bank, I had never met him until I actually joined the food bank in 2011. John was an icon of the food bank world, and so it was kind of humbling and a little bit terrifying to come into John's food bank and take over. But shortly after I joined, I got the opportunity to meet John. He came in the office several times during that first probably 6 months, 9 months that I was here, and I got to know him through that time and got to know what a great heart he had for the people of the community. He really lived to help people here have enough food to eat, and that shown in everything that we talked about, and certainly was reflected in the organization that he built.
I had slipped and fell at home. And when I did, I tore every lumbar muscle possible in your lower back. And when I come back to work, they wouldn't let me ride high-low anymore. Doctor, nope. And that's where I was when we moved here. And then I went out into agency office and worked with clients again, one-on-one. So now all I do is push pencil. And that's odd. When you're working, you're not supposed to have a good time. Oh, I still have one here. So I think that's why I stayed so long. December 31st, this past year, I went to say Happy New Year to Ken because I figured he was in. And then I told him, oh, by the way, this is the official visit. He kind of looked at me, and I says, I'm giving you 2 years. He goes, what? I says, 2 years from this date. When I walk out, I don't come back.
We probably have never had someone with the love of this organization and what we do as much as she had, given the number of years she's been here. So that she certainly will leave a legacy of how much she cared for not just the organization here, but for the people we serve. She's really been the glue for a lot of parts of our organization, and I would remind her, as I did recently, that I've still not yet officially approved her retirement. So we'll see where that goes. But we're obviously very, very blessed to have Priscilla and what she's brought here, and yeah, maybe I will approve it, but we'll have to have a talk about that.
It'll be 34 years and almost a half when I retire. It's been a good life. And if I had it to do again, trust me, I would not change it. I would not change it. Nope.